Good day, Ms. Nelson and fellow viewers. Today my group and I shall be presenting the seminar evaluation for our chosen psychology seminar 2 topic, Understanding and Navigating the Experience of Failure During Adulthood. The objective for today's presentation is to firstly provide a brief seminar recap, followed by an evaluation of the seminar. Seminar Objectives Recap. Firstly, discussing how failure may be hindering adults between the ages of 18 to 60 from living a motivated and driven life. And secondly, addressing the concerns and issues surrounding failure as posed by our target group. Our target group requested to learn about healthy coping mechanisms for failure, techniques for recovering from the setbacks of consecutive failures, maintaining a positive outlook post-failure, and getting past the anxiety of fear of failure. I shall now proceed to the evaluation checklist segments of our seminar evaluation. Question 1. What were the overall benefits of the intervention? The benefits of the intervention were categorized into 3 sections. 1. Knowledge sharing. The intervention provided sufficient knowledge of information on understanding and navigating failure to our adult population, inclusive of multiple relatable real-life examples on the subtopics. Participants became aware of the influences on their perceptions of failure, how failure affects their overall sense of self, the stages of failure, and the role of failure in the journey of success. Secondly, brings forward group discussions. Throughout the seminar, the intervention allowed for constructive discussions between hosts and audience members through interactive sessions that included carded questions to examine issues and opinions on the topic. Thirdly, highlights practical techniques. The intervention provided practical techniques that the audience can apply to their lives when navigating failure. These techniques can be divided into 3 categories. 1. Coping techniques. The audience learned how to apply practical methods and how to develop healthy coping mechanisms to manage failed experiences, including how to control anxiety and emotions such as guilt and shame after a failed experience, as well as how to cope with repeated failures. Secondly, learning techniques. The intervention provided practical methods to improve building resilience in the event and aftermath of failure, steps to move closer to success, and developing a growth mindset. Thirdly, management techniques. We offered constructive methods on how to navigate and manage failure and the fear of failure, including how to develop self-resilience in the face of failure, and how to build and maintain a sense of motivation towards pursuing new goals. Question 2. Were particular individuals helped and/or was the intervention beneficial to the whole client group? Based on the data gathered from the evaluation survey, all 10 participants stated that the intervention was beneficial to them in one way or another, and the intervention measures were applied to their personal lives. This is observed in question 5, where the majority of respondents replied yes to being asked, in your personal life, have you been able to apply any of the knowledge or techniques learned at the seminar to better understand and manage your perceptions and or experiences of failure? The data collected in the following questions of the evaluation survey further provides information on how the intervention was helpful and beneficial to the client group. Question 2 of the survey. How has your outlook and approach to failure been enriched since attending our seminar? After attending the seminar, 3 participants reported feeling less stressed and afraid of trying new things. 2 indicated that they now try to react and handle failure in a more positive and healthy manner. 2 indicated that they now had a better understanding of failure and the impacts it can have on their lives. 2 participants indicated that they had a better understanding of their feelings toward failure, and 1 stated that they no longer feel so alone when they fail. Question 3 of the evaluation survey. Did the seminar provide you with useful information to help navigate failed experiences? All participants stated yes. 3 participants further stated that, and I quote, I discovered how to learn from my failure and how to work towards changing my fixed mindset to a more open or growth mindset. Knowing that failure does not take away from my worth as a person. And thirdly, instead of attributing failure to a lack of talent, I try to pull back and examine how to do better. Question number 4 of the evaluation survey. Did the seminar prove to be informative and beneficial to you? If so, please state why. The responses are as follows. 2 respondents stated yes. 2 stated that the seminar was very informative. 1 participant stated that they learned ways to work through their failures. Another stated that they are no longer discouraged when they do not achieve a goal because through trial and error, they will become better with it. Another stated that it felt good to know that their feelings during their times of failure were shared by others. 1 stated that they now seek to improve from failure rather than be embarrassed about it. The remaining participants stated that the information has helped them better understand their emotions when faced with failure, leading them to progress from a sense of failure.
Question 3. What theoretical model influenced our intervention and what are the implications? Our seminar was designed with the aim of providing our audience with an enhanced understanding of failure and how to effectively navigate or deal with the experience and negative perceptions associated with failing. As such, our seminar was structured based on the framework of the cognitive learning theory and the constructivist learning theory. Firstly, the cognitive learning theory. From the cognitivism perspective, learning is understood as the acquisition of knowledge, essentially implying that the learner is an information processor who absorbs information, undertakes cognitive operations on it, and stocks it in memory. Within this perspective, learning not only relies on the internal processes of the learner, but also depends on external factors such as the presentation of information and instruction. Therefore, the informational explanations, such as the factors that influence our perception of failure or the role failure plays towards success, the instructional techniques on overcoming the fear of failure and coping with failed experiences and building resilience, as well as the illustrative examples provided in the videos presented on establishing a growth mindset and boosting confidence, are all instrumental factors in learning. Essentially, in cognitive learning, the goal of education or instruction is to communicate or transfer knowledge to the learner in the most efficient and effective way possible. Hence, the reason why the content of our seminar was organized and segmented in such a manner whereby our participants could assimilate and accommodate the new knowledge as readily as possible. Evidently, the influence of the cognitivism approach proved to be beneficial to our participants' learning, as based on the feedback received from the follow-up evaluation, participants shared that they were able to discover how to learn from their own failure and how to work towards changing their fixed mindset to a more open or growth mindset. They realized that failure does not take away from their self-worth as a person, and instead of attributing failure to a lack of talent, they try to pull back and re-examine how to do better. Secondly, the constructivist learning theory. Constructivism states that learners construct their knowledge by actively engaging with their environments and through the reorganization of their mental structures, essentially claiming that the transfer of knowledge is facilitated by the learner's involvement in meaningful activities. Therefore, by taking this into consideration, we ensured the inclusion of discussion segments, where participants were asked questions based on their personal experiences and perceptions of failure. This allowed them to be actively engaged with the material presented and for their learning and understanding to be efficient. The goal of instruction is to accurately portray tasks, not to define the structure of learning required to achieve a task. Therefore, by engaging our participants in thought-provoking discussions, rather than simply listing out the topic material within our segment of Understanding Failure, participants were able to better understand and introspectively shift their connotations of failure. On the other hand, though the techniques discussed during the navigating segment of our seminar were not immediately employed during the course of our seminar, participants reported utilizing the suggestions on growth mindset and confidence boosting in the post-seminar period prior to the evaluation survey. Question 4. Is there further support or contradiction of the background theory? As mentioned in the previous question, our post-seminar feedback indicated that there is further support for the background theories applied. According to the responses to the open-ended or qualitative questions, both the cognitivism and constructivism theories were instrumental in supporting our client group's retention of the material as well as resulting in perceptual shifts or adjustments. Through the use of cognitive techniques whereby participants acquired and retained the seminar material, and constructivist strategies which allowed them to build upon and restructure their pre-existing knowledge, participants were able to consequently reframe their mindsets and approach toward failure on their own with the application of these strategies. Furthermore, based on our initial investigation, research claimed that failure commonly undermines goal commitment by lowering people's confidence in their overall ability to pursue their ambitions, whilst sabotaging their general expectation of success, leading to disengagement between such persons and their goals. Hence, as a group, we predicted comparable outcomes among our target audience, that is, adults between the ages of 18 to 60. Given the results from our initial data collection, that is our fact finding, and post seminar feedback, that is this evaluation, our hypothesis is supported. For reference, during our fact finding research, when participants were asked, "Have you ever been discouraged from pursuing a goal because you were afraid of failing?" we noticed that 74.2% said yes, while only 25.8% said no. Collaboratively, when participants were later asked, "Can a lack of healthy coping mechanisms and a misperception of the significance of failure hinder your progress and contentment in life?" in our survey evaluation, 100% of all participants said yes.
Question 5. What is the particular value of the psychological aspects of the intervention? Intervention serves the role of directing persons towards better recognizing their needs and supplementing them with guidance and resources to have those needs be met. Essentially, providing persons with the opportunity to cultivate the necessary skills and mechanism required to live a healthy, prosperous, and content life. Our seminar would have brought awareness to the factors that shape our perceptions of failure, and as such, holding our target group back from pursuing opportunities that are beneficial to them and potentially their sense of confidence and self-esteem. By presenting useful yet practical coping mechanisms and techniques to productively deal with failure, our participants are better prepared to unfold and redefine their perceptions of failure and overcome the anxiety associated with the fear of failure in order to move past the negative associations that may provoke stagnancy in their personal growth and development. Additionally, they are equipped to effectively cope in the event of failed experiences, rebuild their motivation through confidence, and harness a stronger sense of resilience in order to continue pursuing their goals and desires in the aftermath of failure. Question 6. What is the next step for the client in bracket group? Should the intervention strategy continue? Following the seminar, we decided to follow up with our participants to see how they were able to positively reframe their outlook on failure, move beyond the anxiety of fear of failure, build their resilience and sense of motivation through confidence, and productively manage feelings of failure. This step revealed whether participants benefited from attending the seminar. Based on feedback from the evaluation survey, participants expressed that having attended the seminar proved to be both enlightening and valuable to them, as they gained and were able to employ a more productive approach toward reacting to and managing their failed experiences and perceptions of failure. However, the intervention strategy should continue with a greater emphasis on growth mindset, as participants also stated that they would have liked to see more attention placed on this segment of the seminar.
Question 7. Is there another step with which to make progress? Though there isn't anything more that can be done to make further progress due to the time constraints of the semester placed upon us, as a group we have considered furthering the research on our topic by consulting with experts in the field of positive psychology and mindset coaching to help bring a greater level of expertise to the concerns we addressed in our seminar, as there is a lack of data and research on the topic of understanding and navigating failure. Question 8. What practical and ethical issues have arisen from which learning has occurred? Throughout the development and execution of our seminar, we attempted to address both the ethical and practical issues that could have arisen by ensuring that there was informed consent, confidentiality, and voluntary participation among our client group. However, based on the feedback from our participants in a follow-up evaluation, one practical concern raised by many was the necessity for the seminar to be conducted in person. Though participants stated that they gained insightful knowledge and learned beneficial techniques on the topic of failure, they also expressed that a greater level of engagement would have been achieved in a face-to-face interaction, which was unfortunately not possible due to the current situation posed by the pandemic.
In conclusion, 100% of our participants found our seminar insightful and beneficial, further enriching their outlook and approach to understanding and navigating failure. Our application of cognitivism and constructivism theories of learning proves to be successful in meeting the seminar objectives of fulfilling the needs posed by our audience, which were healthy coping mechanisms for failure, techniques for recovering from the setbacks of consecutive failures, maintaining a positive outlook post-failure, and getting past the anxiety or fear of failure. Although we attempted to address both the ethical and practical issues of the seminar, one practical concern raised by many was the necessity for the seminar to be conducted in person. As such, though the seminar was a success, the intervention strategy should continue with a greater emphasis on growth mindset. As hosts of the seminar, we are delighted to know that the information on understanding and navigating the experience of failure in adulthood was beneficial and enriching to the lives of our audience. We thank you for viewing.